Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy KirbyDK10 here, and in this video, I'm going to be starting my new series called Shoot the You-Know-What. I can't say it because of YouTube, but you know what I'm trying to say. So this is going to be a review series where I go over specifically first-person shooter games. I might potentially in the future even stretch it to other types of game genres, but for now, since this channel is a first-person shooter focused channel, I'm going to be doing FPS games. So the first game on our chopping block is Overwatch. And as well, so I forgot to mention, before we get into the video, this is going to be a less edited, at least on the audio side, style of video. So there might be a lot of uhs and ands. Sorry about that in the future, but I want it to be as raw and unedited as possible. I do have a little script that I am following, so it won't be completely, unedited with no cohesion. So what is Overwatch to start off? Well, it's a hero-based shooter with MOBA elements. That's the basic way that I could put it. If you want to go a little bit more into it, you have abilities, and those abilities have cooldowns. Each hero has different abilities, and they all do something different, and they all have a role to play in their teams. And overall, it's a very complex game whenever it gets to the highest level of play. In the lower ranks, it's going to be a lot of people cheesing with really annoying heroes, or heroes that have really abusive kits, at least for early or non-like experienced players. So the game is going to be very frustrating for those types of players. Anyways, to get into it, the pros of the game. The game has a lot of characters and a lot of abilities, and I think that can create a lot of interesting moments and a lot of interesting character interactions, a lot of matchup differences, as well as certain heroes can really deal a lot of damage whenever paired up with another hero, right? And this can lead to some frustrating game moments, some frustrating deaths in the game, and other things like that. But I think it's overall a very good thing. It allows the team to have a lot more, I think a lot more things to balance. And I think having more factors to balance can make a game more balanced. But I don't think they've done the best job, as we'll get into later. I think another thing about this game that is very good is the designs of the characters and the world. It's very unique. It's Blizzard. They made World of Warcraft. It has a lot of unique areas and characters in that game, so I'm not surprised that the game world is so fleshed out here. It's not fleshed out in the game, but it's fleshed out in comics and short YouTube videos on the Overwatch channel. If you want to watch those, you'll kind of see what I'm saying. You have characters like Winston, a character that is basically like a scientist gorilla, and he likes peanut butter, and I like how each character has their own kind of thing going on. And the next thing I want to touch on is the gameplay. I think the gameplay is really fun for the most part. I think it has a lot of what I like in a game. It has a lot of strategy, a lot of thought behind what you do, and it's very fast-paced thought, right? You have to come up with that answer, but you have to come up with it very fast, or else you're going to get punished very hard, and I think that's very good for a game to have. Anyways, I think another great thing about it is the graphics of the game are absolutely immaculate. Whenever it comes to video games, I like to think of them sort of as, okay, what would this game look like if it came out on PlayStation 2, right? What would it look like if it came out on a console or on a system that was so low, right? How do we make those players' experiences feel very good? And I think that comes down to having a really good art style. And Overwatch has one of the most immaculate art styles out there in the gaming industry, in my opinion. It looks beautiful. Even if you run the game at 720p on low settings, the game looks amazing. And I had to do that before I got this new computer. I had to do that on my old computer, and it looked great. Another amazing thing about Overwatch is the game is really easy for non-FPS fans to get into and to get to play, because you can play characters that don't require a lot of aim skill, right? You can play Mei, for instance, right, where her ultimate is just an AoE damage spell, right, or damage ability, I guess. And her gun is essentially fully automatic, and all you have to do is hit them a bunch and they'll freeze, and then they're frozen in place, and then all you have to do is shoot your icicle at their head and they die. It's a very good character for newer players to get into, and there are tons of examples of that. Winston with his cannon, I can think of a bunch of examples in the game, but very easy for MOBA fans or MMO RPG fans to get into. And I remember playing Overwatch back whenever it was in beta, or I believe the closed beta or the open beta, whenever it was like a month before the game came out, and there was a bunch of WoW players that came into it and were trying the game, and it was really easy to take advantage of those players because they were not very good with gun skill. Whereas somebody like me, I played FPS my whole life. I went on like a 30 kill streak my first game, and I think whenever the game came out, I went on like a 21 kill streak with Roadhog, my main. So yeah, I'm a toxic Roadhog player. You can hate me for that, but hey. Anyways, the cons of the game. Let's get into the cons of this game. It has a lot of the rock, paper, scissors elements of a MOBA game like League of Legends or Dota. And I think that can be very annoying for certain players like myself. I like character specialist in any game. And I think this game is the one where if you're playing a character and you're really good at that character, but somebody else is playing a different character on the enemy team, they're going to be able to counter you so heavily where you just have to switch off of that pick that you like. And that, in my opinion, is really, really bad for the game. Character loyalists should be able to play who they want and not feel like they just get countered by certain characters. And that's going to happen regardless because it is a hero-based shooter game, and that is one thing that I think hero-based shooter games suffer from. And this was the first game I ever played where there was like heroes that had different abilities, and this game is the reason I don't like games that have different characters with different abilities. Anyways, on to the next point. The competitiveness of this game, in my opinion, has ruined it completely, for the casuals at least. And I think what I mean by this is they've overtuned the game for the competitive scene, and I think it's made the game overall very boring to play. It's made it very balanced, but I think it's made it very boring. And that comes with any game that's played competitively, but I think with this one, a lot of people that started playing it were very casual players that maybe just played competitive as like a little fun side mode or whatever, and their champions got nerfed a lot, and it just disenfranchised them from the game, and they left because of that. Anyways, to move on, there are not very many new players to this game anymore, and that's because it's pretty much a dead game. The YouTube views, the Twitch numbers are not there for this game anymore. It's expected. It came out in 2016. It's not new to a lot of people. But there are ways to get in new players, and I think they just kind of can't. Like, they've tried a lot. They put the game on sale like multiple times this year, I believe, and there's still not a lot of new players. There are a lot of people who make alternate accounts, but there aren't like actual genuine new players that are coming to the game, which is really sad. Heroes are not balanced correctly. for the most fun experience. And what I mean by that is they, instead of trying to balance a hero like what they came out with in their original kit, what they'll do is they'll try to rework them, and then the people who played that character before feel like, oh, my character's changed, I don't feel as comfortable on this character, I don't like them as much, right? And that can affect a lot within a game, and those people might just leave the game and go to a different game all together because their hero got nerfed so much or got changed to the point where they're completely different. And here it comes back to the whole competitive thing ruining the game. Role queue, in my opinion, in this game, has completely destroyed the game in multiple ways. Number one is you have to role queue, you have to lock in what kind of champion you're going to play before the game even starts, before you even get into queue, right? And this is even in quick play, right? In casuals. Not in competitive. I would be fine with role queue in competitive. In casuals, though, or in the quick play match, you need to not have this system. It's very bad for the game, and I think it's one of the reasons why the game has died out so badly. Number two reason why it's bad is because it makes the damage per second queue times absurdly high. If you queue, let's say, tank with a damage per second secondary, tank is the least popular role, so you'll get into a game almost every time as tank, right? But if you just add the DPS like as your secondary, your queue time goes from like, let's say for tanks it's probably like the queue pops like 10 seconds because nobody plays tank, right? It goes from like 10 seconds to like 3 minutes just by adding that you want to also prefer DPS. And this goes for healer as well. So I just pick healer or tank. I don't even play DPS anymore because the queue times are ridiculous. And if you just solely pick DPS, your queue times are going to be like 6 to 10 minutes. Most of the time it's going to be like around 7. I've tested it, it's around 7, like midday. If you go at nighttime, it's going to be probably more towards the 10-ish side of the spectrum because less people are playing overall. The game, in my opinion, all of these cons have really killed the game. And in my opinion, it's in a really sad state. And in a lot of Overwatch fans' opinion. I wouldn't consider myself an Overwatch fan, but just watching this game die over the years that I've been on the internet is really sad. And I would like to see maybe a comeback with Overwatch 2. And that's why I'm making this video for the most part on this game. Because it is a dead game. I probably would not want to post it on my YouTube channel, but just out of passion, I want to do this. And the game is in such a sad state. The toxicity in ranked is overwhelming. The amount of levers in ranked is overwhelming. The game is not getting any more support, and it's on its dying breath, pretty much. Right? It's on its way out. I think all of these issues could have been resolved very easily, and they just didn't do it. Right? They didn't take role queue out of casuals. They didn't balance. They just decided to rework characters. They didn't decide to make the game free to play to make more new players want to try it. They decided to pump a bunch of money into the Overwatch League instead of maybe helping smaller, maybe maybe more casual friendly streamers, right? Instead of pumping money and giving them a platform. They decided to make the game rock, paper, scissors. And overall, it's killed the game. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry if this video left on a little sour note, but just how I'm feeling on this game. I'll have another video out today. I don't know if I'm going to post this one first or that one first. I don't know how it's going to work, but Hope you guys enjoy. It's been your boy KirbyDK10, and I'm out. Peace.